Singapore last week, of course, and now event number 6, Indonesia. China and Japan will follow in September, and then the tour moves to Europe before back to Asia once again, with the Super Series finals taking place in December. So that's the OSIM BWF World Super Series, and it was the Korean Open and All England that were the first 2 premier Super Series events, and now the Indonesia as well. China, of course, and the Danish, the other 2 of the 5. Well, it's the second round competition today as far as the Indonesian Open is concerned. We're starting with mixed doubles, and the Indonesian pair that's really been causing a sensation. They've won 3 tournaments back-to-back. Ahmad and Natsir, they're up against Japanese opposition. Then we've got men's doubles and the qualifiers from Indonesia against the number 2 seeds from Korea. Then men's singles and a repeat of the 2006 final. And unbelievably, it is the last time that Taufik Hidayat actually beat his opponent of today, Bao Chunlai. After that, men's singles will have women's singles and the European champion. And the beaten finalists from last week in Singapore, Tina Bound, up against a Japanese player, Hari. Then the last of our 5 matches this afternoon will be women's doubles, and local favourites Johari and Polly up against the Commonwealth Games gold medalists from India, Gutta and Ponta. Well, I'm Jill Clark, sitting alongside Ian Wright, and Ian, already in this tournament we've seen 1 or 2 upsets, not least yesterday in the women's singles, when the winner from last week, Wang Xin, beat him in the first round by Tai Su-yin of Taipei. 1 or 2 upsets, but some great matches to look forward to, and I guess the pick of the day is the men's singles. Is that the one you're looking forward to?
Yes, I think it has to be. Anytime Taufik plays in this stadium, it's a special occasion, and particularly against Bao Chunlai, I think it's going to be a real spectacular match today.
Yes, well, of course, in the men's singles discipline, only 1 seed dropping out in the first round, and I do mean dropping out because Boonsak Ponsana, the number 6 seed, had to retire midway through the opening game of his match against Du Pengyu, and incidentally, Du Pengyu already through now to the quarterfinal stage, having beaten Yamada earlier today. Of course, play got underway at 11 o'clock local time. So matches happening on the adjoining courts. 3 courts in action today. 4 courts prior to this. And I said that it was a hub of activity outside. It's nothing in comparison to the atmosphere here inside the Skora Stadium. And here comes the pair that have been in such great form. They've won the last 3 tournaments that they've played. Incredible run. It all started at the India Super Series event, their first ever Super Series title. And then a week later, they won the Malaysian Grand Prix. And last week, of course, the Singapore Super Series. Well, they're up against Japanese players Shoji Sato and Shizuka Matsuo. As far as the Indonesians are concerned, well, it's a relatively new partnership. They only formed their partnership last year. And what a great start they had to their partnership too, because the first 3 tournaments they played, they reached 3 finals, winning 2 of them, Macau and the Indonesian Grand Prix Gold event, and also runner-up in Taipei. So there's Tantowi Ahmad. His partner, vastly experienced, although Liliyana Natsir, only 25 years of age. Of course, she was in a long-term partnership, highly successful partnership too, with Nova Widianto, twice world champions, having been in 3 world championship finals. That really was quite a record. But now playing with a younger player, and Ian, I guess that's purely with the Olympics in mind. Of course, the Olympic qualifying period has already started. And the Indonesian team probably felt that a better chance with a younger player, because Nova, 32 years of age already.
Yeah, they tried it with 1 or 2 different combinations last year before the qualifying period started, and they've settled on Tantowi, and it looks like a good decision. I think the worrying thing for the rest of the pairs around today is that it's an improving pair. I mean, they're getting better and better. Tantowi's learning his trade very, very quickly, and it looks a very dangerous combination.
Yes, they certainly do. And I think you've hit the nail on the head, because I think you and I watched them at the All England and watched them very closely, and there was a certain naivety in the style of play of Ahmad, but my goodness me, watching him in recent tournaments, you're absolutely right. He's matured in his court awareness, his tactical awareness, and of course, perhaps initially a huge amount of pressure on him. Well, there's our court officials. Gilles Havet of France is our umpire. Grace Chia of Malaysia, our service judge. Well, as far as the Japanese pair are concerned, currently ranked 63 in the world. Shoji Sato is 28 years of age, his partner 4 years younger. Only 7 previous tournaments together. And I have to say that for years, you and I enjoyed watching Shoji Sato on the men's singles court, and it wasn't that long ago either. But let's first look at, in a little more detail, at the Indonesian pairing. Number 4 seeds and world ranking has gone up to number 2. Last week, they were number 5 in the world. And pretty impressive first round victory as well against the Olympic champion Lee Yong-dae, with his new partner Ha Jong-eun since the retirement of Lee Ho-jung. 2 straight games, that encounter. Well, Shoji Sato, and obviously the world rankings have been rerun just literally moments ago. The world ranking now from 63 last week up to 49. You and I were checking the world rankings just before we went to air, and they hadn't been rerun at that stage. That's just done to confuse us, isn't it? Their first round encounter against qualifiers, their teammates Kazuno and Takahashi.
Change.
Don't know if you saw the Japanese match yesterday, Ian, but certainly their opening game, which they won 24-22. They'd been a long way down, 6-12 down, and coming back to win it 24-22, as I say. Needed 4 match points to close it out in the end. But given the fact that they are a very new pairing, only 7 previous tournaments together, 3 quarterfinals, though. They've been a pair that have done reasonably well without an outstanding result.
Shoji, on court, please.
Yes, again, I think the current world ranking is misleading with only 7 tournaments on there. I think they're a better pair than that. Sato's a very, very clever badminton player. Played a very high level men's singles. Last year, played very, very well in men's doubles. He had several notable wins in the men's doubles event, and now turning his hand to mix. And again, this is a pair that's improving very, very quickly, so it could be an interesting game today.
Yeah, it's the first time that they've met each other, and that's not surprising given the fact that neither pair has been playing together that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Liliyana Natsir, Tantowi Ahmad, Indonesia. On my left, Shizuka Matsuo, Shoji Sato, Japan. Liliyana Natsir to serve, Shizuka Matsuo,
So the number 4 seeds, the new world number 2 ranked pair, Tantowi Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir, nearest to us against the Japanese combination of Shoji Sato and Shizuka Matsuo. Of course, you and I have watched this lady, Liliyana Natsir, for many years now, and she seems so relaxed on court and doesn't seem to really be the spectacular player, if you know what I mean, but my goodness, she is good.
She reads the game so well. We've had a couple of examples early on there where she's served and she's read where the third shot's going to be. She's there, she's intercepting it, as you say. Not as spectacular as some of the other players, but so efficient and sees the game very, very clearly.
2-3. Service
called
over.
just long.
4-2. Shoji.
Oh, it's a
Service
super
over.
return from Shoji Sato.
3-4.
It's good interception at the net from Matsuo. Oh, what a return. And that's another prime example of what you were saying here.
Yeah, doesn't try to hit it too hard. Sees the space, calmly puts the shuttle away into the space, hitting across the defence. I think at the start of this combination, when they started playing together, I think Natsir was a little bit frustrated with a young partner, a little bit impetuous. Maybe the shot selection was not really to her style, but gradually as it's developed, she seems to be really enjoying the matches more and more, I think.
Yes, in fact, I spoke to her last week in Singapore just before the final, and she was saying, oh, we've got more and more confidence. Every tournament we're playing, we're gaining in confidence. The more confident you are, of course, the more you're going to enjoy it. But, you know, I actually think that she's got more freedom within this partnership to go forward to the net more. I felt that when she was playing with Nova Widianto, that at times they were a little too defensive. They both had wonderful defences, but they weren't proactive enough. And I think that she's got the idea that because Tantowi is much younger than her previous partner and is very fast around the court, that she's willing to go forward to the net a little more.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting point. I think she was very much junior partner with Nova, and she's stepped up and taken responsibility in this partnership, and I think she's really relishing that, being in charge and dictating the tactics a little bit more, organising a younger partner. She seems to be really enjoying that.
Four-year-old from Osaka, Matsuo. That's very, very well taken, and that just really demonstrating the point about her willingness to stay at the net and dominate the front of the court. So to the mid-game interval, just 4 minutes of the match. So obviously the Indonesians in control at the moment, as the Japanese coach is working very hard with Sato.
Yes, I think he'll be talking a little bit about return of serve. Sato's tried to play soft returns, and that's playing into Natsir's hands. She's able to intercept the third shot, and Sato's way out of position with that. He's using what I would call men's doubles returns rather than mixed returns, and I think his coach will be saying just to push past Natsir to get into a better position and get into the rallies.
So this 5-point advantage. That really was an opportunity for Matsuo. And this now a run of 5 straight points.
Well, better return, created the opportunity, but just snatched when the opportunity arrived on the net there.
Oh yes, that's landed well in. Bad misjudgment from Shizuka Matsuo. There is a drift though in this arena, isn't there, Ian? And it's not just lengthways, there's a bit sideways as well.
Yes, the shuttle tends to move around. There's a lot of activity in this hall. It's quite a compact hall, a lot of people in. And the drift tends to be a little bit inconsistent in here as well. But there's certainly a side drift.
How deep they are in their defensive stance. No wonder she's vulnerable to the little block. Well, this is now a run of 8 straight points. Finally, that run comes to an end, but what a different complexion it's put on this opening game.
So far it's the Indonesian pair who are dominating all the service and return situations, creating opportunities all the time to get the first attack. That's the telling factor so far in this first set. And again, Sato there trying to push past Natsir, but straight onto the racket of Tantowi on mid-court.
That's good judgment. That's the shuttle drop just long of that back line. And from 8-6 up, they really have just run away with this opening game. So simple. I can assure you it wasn't. Great skill. And now, unbelievably, 13 game points. Second time of asking. Umpire confirms the score at 21-8. And a good return, helped of course by the net court. In just 8 minutes of play. It's extraordinary.
Yes, that's incredible. Japanese just look a little bit intimidated by the atmosphere as well in here. Although Sato's a very experienced player in the singles department. He's all at sea at the moment tactically in this mixed match, I'd have to say. No answers on service and return, and as I say, his partner just looks a little bit overawed by the atmosphere in the hall today, playing against the home team.
Of course, you mentioned earlier that he's been playing men's doubles with Naoki Kawamaya. And even his body language there suggests to me that he's sort of looking at his partner saying, what on earth do we do? What should we be doing? No doubt the coach has given them tactics, but when you get into the heat of the rally, an awful lot of it is instinctive, and if you're not used to playing mixed doubles and reacting in the right way, it does become awfully difficult. Japanese team captain, of course, for the Thomas Cup. Sato. Well, the opening game in double quick time for Tantowi Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir. 21-8 in just 8 minutes. And that's just wide from Matsuo.
Yeah, she looks very stressed on return of serve there.
One of the rare occasions the Japanese pair really got on the attack, but they were helped, by, of course, by the flick serve. Oh, it's just wide. It was the right idea. Of course, Ian, we really ought to mention the fact that Liliyana Natsir missed the Sudirman Cup, out with injury, elbow injury. It's lovely. And in fact, you can clearly see she's still got it heavily strapped. It is lovely to see her back on court, and I can't help but wonder if perhaps the little break from international competition may have done her a bit of good. Come back afresh.
Yeah, possibly. The schedule's been very heavy so far this year. She's certainly looked to be on top of her game last week in Singapore, and it's carrying on this week so far.
Yeah, and in fact, because she missed that Sudirman Cup, the last time that this Indonesian mixed doubles combination actually lost was in the semi-final of the Swiss Open to Nathan Robertson and Jenny Warwick. That's some time ago. That was March. Oh, it's super use of the little push, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, that return to Natsir, return of serve playing to Natsir, I think is not the right tactic for the Japanese. I think they need to be trying to keep Natsir off that net position.
Oh yeah. Once again, she's caught too deep in her defensive stance. Matsuo, and then can't react to the little drop shot. Look how far back she's gone. Goodness me.
It's over. 4-5.
Service fault called. The players haven't heard it, and I'm not surprised. The noise in the arena. Watching one of the matches on the adjoining courts, but a service fault was called. Play was stopped, and I think the umpire. And the umpire, Shizuka of France, just explaining to Sato that had been called a service fault. He hadn't realised, and he now goes and talks to the service judge. Yep, struck above the waist, says Grace Chia of Singapore. Well, that was a pity from the Japanese perspective.
Yeah, she's not really settled into this game, has she, Jill? She's had one or two opportunities, but they're so infrequent that when they're coming along, she's just panicking a little bit, snatching at the shuttle, and technique's just breaking down in that net area. Again, she's been driven off the net there.
Yeah. He's a very fast player around the court, is Shoji Sato. Hasn't really been able to use that speed so far in this encounter. Very fine singles player in his day. Winner of 14 career titles, 9 of them in 2003. That was the most extraordinary year. Went to a number of tournaments that weren't the top tier of tournaments in an effort to qualify for the 2004 Olympics, which indeed he did. But also his singles last year in the Thomas Cup finals should be mentioned because, of course, against Malaysia, he beat Mohammed Hafiz Hashim in 3 games, and that meant Japan beat Malaysia 3-2 in the group stage. Major upset, and it was all down to this man.
Yes, he's a very gifted badminton player. So he's now turned his hand to all 3 events with good success. Unfortunately, in this game, they're just not able to create enough attacking opportunities. On the rare occasions where they have been able to take the attack, we see him demonstrate his speed and his mobility around the rear court and the mid court, but just not creating enough of those opportunities for him to get his attacking play into the game.
So, as in the opening game, exactly the same scoreline at the mid-game interval, 11-6. And it really was from this stage that the Indonesians started to dominate in that opening game. The Japanese pair will be very anxious not to allow that to happen again.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Thank you, coach. Shoji? That's the count. Thank you. 11-6. Play.
Yes, I really felt in that rally after the little block from Ahmad, Liliyana went forward to the net, and that's the sort of movement that she probably didn't used to use when she was playing with Nova Widianto. And she's looking very, very sharp on the net, isn't she? Your point about the fact that she reads the game so well.
Yes, very different type of game playing with Nova. Nova was a player who liked to take risks from the mid-court and liked to come to the net himself, which meant that Natsir was always just hanging back a little bit on the mid-court. But Tantowi is someone who likes to stay in that rear court position, and that allows Natsir the freedom to come forward herself.
That's an extraordinary good shot. That's a real sign of the confidence.
Yes, I think she sensed there's no danger from the Japanese girl on the other side around this net area. Very, very passive play from the Japanese girl, giving Natsir lots of time and lots of space. Yep, that might do us some good. Taking the opportunity at the net that time, set up by Sato, just hitting off defence here. Switch of attack. There, forcing the upward defence. And this time Matsuo up to the task on the front court.
And I think Tantowi Ahmad really is beginning to understand mixed doubles so well indeed, taking it early in the mid-court position. Oh, that was going wide, surely. Well, that one's gone long. Yeah, I don't think she meant to leave that, did she? But it was definitely long of the back line, no question of that. Yeah. A hard push, then the soft drop shot. Richard Manaki. That's good judgment.
10-17.
The Japanese pair really need a little run of points here, don't they, Ian?
Yeah, I think it's now or never. They need to push up the court. Indonesians on the wrong side.
Well spotted by the umpire. Oh, that's lovely.
Again, it's just a little bit too easy for the Indonesian pair to get the attacking situations, and Ahmad there just spotting the space. But he's got a lot of time there at the moment.
Service over. 11-18.
Yeah, it must be frustrating for the Japanese coach here, because when the Japanese pair do take the attack, they're actually able to get through with the attack, but they're just not creating enough opportunities for themselves.
Kashima. That's pushed wide. Goodness me, I must be old because I remember both of the coaches as players. 2 points away from a place in the quarterfinal for the new world number twos from Indonesia. Eight match points now. Just needed the one comprehensive performance from Tantowi Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir of Indonesia, totally outclassing Shoji Sato and Shizuka Matsuo. Yeah, and that's got the Indonesian fans cheering. Indonesian fans have been supporting since the qualifying event. Really has been a wonderful atmosphere every single day. That the final shot, the drive from Ahmad. And there's the confusion, there's the lack of understanding between the two Japanese players. There's confirmation of the score, 21-8, 21-12 in just 24 minutes of play. So that mixed doubles complete. Our next match will be men's doubles, as Tantowi Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir leave the court. All smiles, yeah, they're very happy with that, and rightly so. And they will face in the quarterfinal either Shintaro Ikeda and Reiko Shiota of Japan, or Ho Hanbin and Yu Yang, the Olympic bronze medalists. So tough quarterfinal awaits them. So, as I was saying, next match on court is men's doubles. Number 2 seeds, Jung Jae-sung and Lee Yong-dae, up against the qualifiers from Indonesia. Well, let's just enjoy some of the highlights first of all. Well, that's the final rally. That was the moment of victory. Well, they really have been wonderful supporters here every single day, as I was just saying, from qualifying onwards. Qualifying, of course, on Tuesday. Packed house yesterday evening. It's a wonderful atmosphere, as it always is here. Well, while we await for the next match on courts, I can perhaps bring you up to date with some of the other matches that have been taking place so far. Home fans absolutely delighted with Mohammed Hassan and Bona Septano, who have beaten the defending champions from Taipei, Feng and Li. Well, there you can see confirmation of the quarter-final spot, and as I say, either the Olympic bronze medalists from China or Ikeda and Shiota of Japan await Ahmad and Liliyana Natsir. Thomas Leiborn and Camilla Urrutia-Yul, the former world champions, won the world title back in 2009, safely through their match against Hawakawa and Misaki. 2 straight games.